Hi guys, all excited to invest into ETFs? Well, don't skip this video then, as I explain two very important attributes of an ETF that you must understand and look at before investing: liquidity and tracking error. Well, liquidity refers to the relative availability and ease with which you can buy or sell ETF units. Assume you acquired 10,000 units of an ETF over the years, and now, in order to materialize one of your goal, you want to sell your ETF units. But what if you fail to find enough buyers on the stock market for those 10,000 units? What if that ETF that you hold is thinly traded on the stock exchange and it takes weeks and weeks before you can liquidate all those units that you hold? That is exactly what the liquidity risk is. Before investing into an ETF, you need to ensure it has enough interest from various participants so as to have good liquidity on a daily basis. Similarly, tracking error indicates the difference in amount by which the trading price of an ETF is either greater than or less than its net asset value. Remember, the net asset value is set every day by the ETF issuer based on the value of the underlying securities or index. If an ETF has too much deviation from its NAV on a regular basis, it simply indicates low investor interest in the ETF and thus low liquidity. In order to be a successful ETF investor, you need to find an ETF which has high liquidity and low tracking error. Both of these attributes are related and are impacted by the presence or absence of various participants in the ETF market. By now, we know that ETFs trade in secondary market through a stock exchange like NSE or BSE. So ETFs are unique in a way that ETF market is made up of both the primary as well as the secondary market. In the primary market, we have issuer and authorized participants or market makers. The ETF issuer like mutual fund house can create or redeem ETF units to meet investor demand just like any open-ended mutual fund. The authorized participants or market makers are large institutions that have an agreement in place that allows them to request creation and redemption of ETF units directly with the issuer. And they play a very important role in maintaining ETF liquidity and also ensuring that the trading price of an ETF stays close to its net asset value. For example, if you want to buy a large block of ETF units that exceed the liquidity available in the secondary market, that is stock exchange, then APs can apply to the ETF issuer for more units and provide you the necessary liquidity that you need to execute large trades. Similarly, in case you want to sell a large block of ETF units, then APs can purchase from you on a stock exchange and redeem the units with the issuer at the NAV. The presence of APs or market makers ensures we have enough liquidity to buy or sell ETF units as required. But why would these institutions be interested in this role? Well, answer is quite simple: to make money through arbitrage. That is the difference between trading price and the NAV. If the trading price of an ETF in the secondary market goes above the NAV, the APs can get the new units created by the ETF issuer and sell on the stock exchange at a higher price, thus making money. Similarly, if the ETF trading price goes below NAV, then APs can purchase units on a stock exchange this time and redeem with the issuer at NAV, again making money through arbitrage. This helps keep the trading price closer to the NAV of an ETF. The stronger the presence of APs and market makers, the higher will be liquidity and lower will be the tracking error in an ETF. And that is it for this video. In the next video, I'll discuss some popular Nifty 50 ETFs on liquidity and tracking error. To close, remember, higher AUM of an ETF is no indication of higher liquidity, and you shouldn't select an ETF just because it has high AUM. That's it guys, thank you.